everyone. Happy Sunday, or Monday if you're in the other side of the world, like some of our time traveling friends. And speaking of time travel, I am joined for the first time ever, or the second time ever, by our very first repeat guest, Brently the Punk Apostate. This side. I know which side is which, I promise.
Yeah,
This
it
is the
always
first
looks
time
back.
we've ever had a repeat guest
Wow.
because when I was scheduling things out, I happened to notice that you were on the first time almost exactly a year ago. It was the 17th, I think, of last year. And
Wow.
yeah, because
That's
we do
crazy.
these on Sunday, so the exact date will move, but it's basically the anniversary. And things have changed kind of a lot for both of us in the
Right.
past year.
Right.
Yeah. I was
Quite a
like,
bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's catch up and see what's going on and things.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. That's so cool. That's so wild. I would not have thought that I'd be the first repeat. You must have a lot of
Hey,
friends. That's what it is. You have so many friends. You haven't had them on twice because there's too many. There's too many. You got to get to everybody.
well,
And that,
there are still plenty of people that I haven't even gotten the first time. Like, everyone who's coming after this show. And there's a bunch. There's also a bunch of people who aren't even on my schedule because we haven't found a Sunday evening that works for them yet. And
that's tough.
such is life. Yeah, it's
Right.
it's it's tricky. It's tricky.
Everything's on Sunday, it seems. All right.
I
It's
you
just that's
know
very
that kind of blows my mind. Like the original version of this show was a call-in show
oh wow.
because I created this channel in the first place because Matt Dillahunty left the ACA and they put out a call for new hosts. And so I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, hey, I have equipment. I can do the streamy thing. I understand epistemology and a pretty big chunk of science, not to toot my own horn, but I'm like, I can do that. I can help this organization whose cause I believe in. So I put in
Right.
and I was like, hey, I'd be happy to help out.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we see you've got the technology, you've got the background and yada yada, but we need to see you on camera first. So I created this channel as sort of like so they could see what it is I do. And
Oh.
things went a little haywire because I was originally slated to be on Secular Sexuality with Christy Powell.
Oh, I love Christy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
But the
yes.
show got canceled the day I was supposed to be on, and I just kind of fell through the cracks at the ACA. And I'm
Oh,
like,
damn.
well, fuck.
Yeah, that sucks. Damn. I was gonna say,
But
like,
I just kept doing the channel. So,
right?
um,
That's wild.
the original version of the show was a call-in show because there was the Atheist Experience, and Truth Wanted, Talk Heathen. And Talk Heathen is on before Atheist Experience, but you know what I mean.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then there was nothing. There was nothing. There was nowhere for the community to go on Sunday nights. And I was like, well, I'll just put a show there. And so I
Right?
started doing Sunday nights, and then now everyone else has come to the same conclusion that after,
Right.
I mean, the line has started doing a late show because there's nothing on Sunday nights. That's when Skeptic Haven puts their Let's Talk, and it just, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Because everything was done. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Like it just recently, it's like he started doing like and they call it like after dark or what, right? Like, isn't
mhm,
that like which feels sexual, but whatever, maybe I'm just like that's my mind. But yeah, and it's like, and then, but it was always just in the afternoon, and I'm like, most of the time, I have stuff that I'm doing during the day, and if I am going to sit down
mhm,
and watch something, it'd be now, and it's like you're
mhm.
right, there was nothing ever then, so it was kind of odd. I
Yeah,
just
I mean,
figured that
as a
out again.
viewer, it kind of bugged me because I was like, okay, I mean, I'd always like double stream. I'd watch both The Line and The Atheist Experience because I'm
Wow.
a crazy person. But
That's dedication right there.
yeah,
Wow.
but when they ended, I was like, what the fuck am I gonna? And so I'd like go find, a couple year old replay of Paula G or something, I'm like, what am I gonna watch now?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like I could like, I don't know, do something else. But I mean, let's be real. Even when I am doing other things, I've got something from YouTube playing in the background.
Right.
Such
Oh,
is life.
oh, hell yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. But we didn't come here to talk about my origin story. We came to talk about what's been going on with you. So your channel is monetized now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Think
which
almost 5 months, right? I don't somewhere in there.
I think was it yeah, it was today with your stream with Helen that I used my 5-month member chat, and
Really?
I got my membership like the day they became available. I think I was your second member, and
Yeah,
only because whoever was first beat me by a picosecond.
like
So
yeah, Lago, like by like 2 seconds. So like, I was like, damn, that's so funny. No, that's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long. It's crazy. Feels like just yesterday it happened.
yeah,
But
it's
no,
it's
that's
pretty
awesome.
trippy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and it was cool too. I wanted to tell, like, because you were a big part of why I like shifted the channel. Because like when I first, yeah, I met you through Hiveside with Bree,
Mhm.
and she had like tagged me on one of your videos because you had done these
Hmm.
lists where you go through and look at everything, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. The, the
Yeah.
the Skeptic Space series. I mentioned
Yeah.
those in my last stream. I'm still working out a better replacement for those. But
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well,
you
that
know.
was such a good idea. I love that. That's brilliant. Just showing everybody, everything you can think of that everybody's
Mhm.
doing, right? But it was funny because like I hadn't done Punk Apostate yet. It was just I didn't know what to do, and
Yeah.
so I was just like, make it my fucking name. I don't know, and so it was just my name. And it was funny because I saw when I watched your show, I saw you go to my channel, and it was like I don't know, it did something to my head where I'm like, I'm seeing it from somebody else's perspective for a second. Like I couldn't do that before for some reason. But
It's
then I saw
hard, yeah.
right, yeah, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta change this fucking thing. This is terrible." I was like, so you were a big part of like I was like, "Oh man, I gotta make this more like something." I don't know. I couldn't think of anything, but once I saw you go on there and everything, I was like, "I need to brand this sucker." So, and then the punk thing just sort of came. I always called myself a punk evangelical because I like evangelize punk. Like, do you listen to punk? Let me show you some punk. Oh, let's go over here. I got some stuff to show you. So I was like, let me
Hell
just put
yeah.
that on the channel, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Why the fuck not?
right.
It's
And
it's
I it frees up. I do like too because like punk's all sort of just like a minimalist thing, so it kind of like the expectations are nice and low. Things fuck up and everything. Like, well, that's punk channel. I don't know what to tell you. That's the way it goes.
that's right. That's right. But okay, two things. The first is you're also the first person to ever get mentioned twice in those Skeptic Space videos because of that rebrand that you did. Like I mentioned you in either version 1 or version 2, and then you changed it to Punk Apostate. And I was
That's
like,
funny.
this guy looks really familiar. And I like featured you again.
That's so funny. Oh man, that's yeah, and that was exactly why I did that because I saw the first one and I was like, wow, this is just there's nothing there. I don't know. Like it wasn't that it was bad or anything, but it just was like there's not really any theme or anything. It's just sort of my name.
But I mean, you've made a great brand, right?
Oh,
Like, I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, punk is great, whatever." But like, you've got the background for it. You've got like the music, like the production wise, it's just fine. But
no,
also, like, you have a thing that you do. There's a lot of people who review FundieTube, but like every part of it, including and especially your fan favorite advertisement, is just
right. AdamandEve.com. Hey, I
that's
was
right.
I couldn't believe they let me advertise for them. Honestly, I was kind of surprised by that.
Well, I mean, it fits, it works, it's beautiful, but what is surprising, and I think Michael Bell wants to touch on an adjacent thing, is you got them as a sponsor like really, really early on. Like normally you can't even, I mean, most channels can't get a sponsor until 10,000 subscribers, but you
Damn,
can't
really,
even get them through YouTube until at least 1,000. And
really.
you've had them, I think, as long as I've known you. So, like, how the heck did you do that?
I like there's this one show that I really like called Cognitive Dissonance. And a lot of what I kind of picked up on was stuff that they stopped doing. They had a show where they would play clips and stop and do the whole thing, right? And they stopped doing that. They just do headlines and it's a much more just like conversational show about headlines, right? But it used to be, like I said, like making fun of stuff. And that was one of their bits too, is they had AdamandEve.com, and they used to actually do like, oh, and if you want to do like, and it was just so funny. I loved it. And then they just stopped doing all of it. Now Adam and Eve is still one of their sponsors, but it wasn't but they don't do that bit anymore. They just kind of do a commercial for it halfway through, and it's whatever. It's fine. Good show. It's still a great show. But I just
Yeah.
I really missed the old stuff, and I was like, well, let me let me try to reach out and see like how, see if I can get that. And I did mention them by name, and I had met them a few times, so I was like, I felt like I could. And I didn't say that they said to for them to sponsor me. All I said was they said that y'all are a great sponsor, and so I just reached out. And yeah, there was just a couple months later, they were like sending me a thing and a deal, and signed it and all that type of stuff. It was wild.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
But
it's really cool when you manage to like negotiate a connection into like a thing that works. That's fantastic.
right, yeah, and that was honestly a buddy of mine, who's it's funny because we're like ideologically completely opposed. He's an atheist, but he's super conservative. And we debated a couple times. So, and he had reached out to me saying that he wanted to help me with the channel and stuff. He's like, you got good content. He's like, you just have terrible packaging, which he was absolutely right. And so he was helping me out, and he was like, just reach out to sponsors. He was like, if you could, if you listen to a show and you like one of their sponsors, reach out to them. And more often than not, he said they'll let you do it. For going out of your way to go talk to them, especially Adam and Eve. They don't have a whole lot of. I mean, how often do people really need to buy sex toys? That's not like a, a VPN or
You may be
something, right?
surprised.
People's
So,
sex toy need is just wow.
well, okay. So, I mean, I'm demisexual on the ace side of things. I don't get very attracted to very many people, but I'm also poly. And there was a period a while back. The last person I was with was also poly, so we were both dating other people. And so TLDR, you it's very rude to use a toy on multiple people. Like, you have a toy for one partner and wash it, clean it, keep it sanitary, but don't
Oh,
use it on a different partner. So if you're in that kind of situation, with a lot of people are, whether they admit it publicly or not, you need different toys for every partner. So you got to go to adamandeve.com more often than you might think.
right. That's fine. I
Yeah.
need to write that down about the multiple partner. I didn't know. I don't know decorum. That's so it's like not licking a donut and putting it back on the donut plate. That's not good. You're
It's in the
not supposed to
ballpark,
do that,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
I
I was
get
like
what
a
you mean.
sex
Like,
toy. Yeah.
a, a lot of people, even if they're sex positive, they 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 don't want to use like adamandeve.com right on their screen, because they're like, oh well, I'm trying to do something professional here, and sex just turns people off completely. But in your case, what you're doing at a professional level is intentionally non-professional, and
Right.
that's fucking magical.
That's the brilliance of it, right? Yeah, it's meant to be. And honestly, I have not I've got, some the money is there or whatever. I haven't cashed it out because I basically told him like this is just mostly I want to advertise for y'all because I hear they're a really good company that support a lot of good stuff too. But I figured I'd never make enough to be able to cash it out or whatever. So I still haven't, but it was mostly for the bit, it's mostly for the jokes and stuff, which it's definitely provided that. That's for sure.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, it's like it's an expected joke at this point. Like, even during
Right.
the member streams when you don't have to run them, you still do the segue.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'll cut it short so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. But yeah, because
Yeah.
this is funny. Because these shows are so unintentionally sexual all the time, and it's like they
All the
don't.
time.
Right, and they don't see it because they're so shut off to that whole, like, world, but yeah, so it's just so funny to to hear them say this stuff and just be able to point right at, "Ah, I said a thing, I said a thing, okay."
Yeah, yeah, the repression is just freaking crazy. I
Yeah.
don't the fact they aren't aware of it, I'm like, Are you a virgin, Ray Comfort, who's been married for like 50 years or whatever, whatever? We
Oh
have a
God.
super chat, which is a cool thing that happens on monetized channels from time to time when we get,
Okay.
generous people who want to help support the show, like Pinworm, who
Hey,
sends
Finley.
$2. Thank you so much, and says hello to both of us and hope all is well. Hello to you too, Pinworm. Um, I'm my mouth still hurts, but overall, I'm better than Ember.
There you go. Hell yeah, and I'm well too. And I actually just had a tooth thing too, so we're kind of both on the same track with that. That's wild.
That's right. That's right. And while we're on the subject of members and monetization features and whatnot, I want to show you a thing while I have you here.
Okay.
So here is
Oh wow.
this very stream. And when I talk about how YouTube gives us creators a certain number of memberships that we can just give away, this is how
Yeah.
to find the damn thing. Is you have to
Oh,
do it in YouTube. You go to the little money symbol to membership gifting right down
okay.
here at the very bottom. And
Oh.
because you're the channel owner, it'll give you the thing at my channel size, which is, same ballpark as your channel size. They
Mhm.
give us 10 memberships to give away. We can give them away in 5 packs. So I will do
Oh.
5 right now. Unfortunately, it's only from inside the YouTube window, but it's that easy. You just go to the dollar sign and
Huh.
membership gifting, and bloop, there you go.
And it just it randomly picks five people?
Yep, it's
Wow.
it's all algorithm and whatnot. This
Huh.
time we got John Hudson, annoying all-purpose orifice newsletters, Catherine MC, Sydney Raptor, and Booba Sweat. Congratulations, folks! I
Nice.
hope you enjoy all the fun, cool emojis and the ever increasing number of members only behind the scenes goodies. And there's so many bloody benefits. I don't even remember all of them. But
Right?
the emojis are right there in chat. You can play with them. I hope you enjoy. It's good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, emojis are fun too. That was such a nice thing to be able to mess with, like just out the gate right away.
Oh yeah. They're so much fun. And your emojis are like they're both punk but also really good. And you've got yourself, you've got your doggo, and you've got like 3 different Ray Comforts.
Yeah, yeah, he's kind of the star of the show. I did, I know. I'm sort of a side character. Okay, I'm a side character off in the little corner in the side. He's the main star of the show, and it really delivers more comedy than I could ever deliver. So I appreciate him as
That's
an
fair.
artist.
Yeah, all you have to do is just point at it, like
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one might point at a banana.
that's right.
Now,
It's awesome.
normally this banana rotates, but apparently my software is just I fixed the software glitch from the earlier stream,
Eh,
and now my banana is not rotating. I
ah,
just can't
oh,
win.
that's what that. Okay, got it. Okay, that
Yeah,
was.
it's supposed to like now it's starting to it's slow,
Oh,
but it's
it's going.
going.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
doing.
it's so I can do like, oh, the perfect fruit, proof of God, whatever. I could do the spiel, but you know, it just it just doesn't wanna.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I need to get better at those things. That's cool. Like you can do like Ember has a banana now.
That's right.
It was right there.
Robin
That was
Webster says, who incidentally member for 10 months. Thank you so much, Robin.
wow.
Robin's been a huge supporter of the community, not just this channel, but many channels, and we appreciate the fuck out of that, Robin. But Robin says emojis are almost as fun as sex toys. You can get emojis here and on Brently's channel. But if you want to have even more fun,
That's right.
go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brently, and get 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order.
Wow, you got it. Man, I must say that a lot for you to.
You do. And
It's
although, in
like,
fairness, I got a rehearsal on the earlier stream.
oh right. That's that's right.
So,
That's
you know.
awesome.
Oh
Oh
boy.
yeah.
And also Jester Lord of Fools sends $2 and says Steamception.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Because we have the stream on the stream.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, stream section. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if we're in real time, see, I'm lagging behind because I keep switching windows and I have to keep myself muted so I don't like overlap
Oh
with
god.
myself and drive myself crazy. But yeah, if we're in real time here for a second, very quickly
Oh fuck.
we'll
Yeah.
we'll develop an infinite recursive,
Freaking
proof that God doesn't exist sort of thing.
right. Exactly. Because it will just keep going
That's right.
forever until the pixels run out. That's it.
Yep.
That's all it
It,
takes.
it and that'll make us the prime movers in the new infinitely diverse universe that's just us floating in space. That's a little weird. Let's get rid of that.
Yeah, that was creeping me out. I was just, felt like I was tripping all of a sudden. I was
Yeah, yeah. Normally, I have to pay for that kind of experience.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
Well, that's
But
awesome.
that's another thing that actually, beyond the comedy and the pointing out the stupid nonsense that Fundies spout as proof of God and evidence of God, um, your story is also like really, really valuable from an atheist advocacy perspective because you used to be a junkie, you got clean, and you don't believe in Jesus. And
Right.
it's like the counter to what so many preachers say, like you can only get clean with Jesus and yada yada yada. And so
Yeah.
like much like myself, you existing proves a lot of the shit they say is a lie. And
Right.
all you have to do is just exist. That's pretty
Right.
cool.
That
Yeah.
no, yeah, that is cool. And it's funny too, because it was like, that is like a requirement for a lot of the AA and NA and stuff. Like they say that it's not, but if you
Mm.
actually go to those spaces, you can see that it's pretty clear that it is. I mean, or at least a higher power, and anything could be a higher power. But for me, it was like I couldn't snap out of all of the stuff until I quit, or I mean, until I got my brain out of religion, because it was just it felt like it was just keeping me there, because it was like you just keep on trying to do the same thing to get clean, and it never works because it was never gonna work. It's never actually worked. I honestly don't know what everybody's doing when they say that it works, other than just powering through, and then just hoping that they don't slip up or whatever. Like I don't know. I don't know how they can do it. But for me, I had to deconvert and actually like see reality for what it actually was, and then get that actual medical help from medical professionals, and not just people telling me to do the magic. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Make a wish very hard.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you just did, just Jesus it harder. And I'm like, I've been Jesusing it as hard as I can Jesus, dude. I don't know how much harder I can Jesus. I read the Bible every day. I pray constantly. I did all the stuff. There was no way I could be more dedicated to that fucking religion ever. And it did nothing. And actually it seemed to hurt. It like hurt the attempts, because it was just this constant like shame and guilt, and you're constantly repeating to yourself how bad you are and that you can't do it. That's another thing those places try to tell you. They're like, make sure to keep saying that you can't do it, that you can't get better. It's
Uh-huh.
like, and which is like, why do you? It's like you're admitting defeat before you fucking started. I don't understand
Right.
why people do that. They're like, oh no, you have to say that alcoholism is a incurable disease, and you have to admit that you have an incurable disease. Basically saying like you just admit defeat right from the beginning, and then you wonder why so many people don't want to admit that they're alcoholics. And it's like, well, because you're saying it's an incurable disease. You think there might be some kind of motivated reasoning to not want to admit that. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's
Yeah.
not incurable. It's curable. It just it takes a little bit of doing. And it's for me, it was mostly a belief thing. I just used my what I understood about reason and logic and skepticism, and it applied to what I was going through, because most of why we do drugs is because we believe that we need them. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the part that really gets deep in your head. It's not necessarily, I mean, there is a physical aspect to it too, but it's a lot more mild than you realize. I quit, in a day of drinking, and I just had to I listen to a book, and it basically walks you out of all your false beliefs in your head, just like logically, like kind of snaps you out of all the beliefs that you think you have for why you drink, that are usually just developed because of alcoholism. It's a drug addiction, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, it works really well. It's it's How to Control Alcohol the Easy Way by Alan Carr. I listened to that one like twice, and then The Fastest Way to Control Alcohol Guaranteed by Craig Beck. And those things, I listened to both of them twice, and then just stopped. You know, but you got to listen to them before you stop. That's an important part of it. Just so you know. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
is it like deprograms you
Get the
add to?
steps in order. Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
got to notice yourself doing it and stuff. I don't know, that's the whole thing.
Yeah. Karen Butcher points out that alcoholism can be a symptom of a disease, a symptom rather than the thing itself, or a coping mechanism to help you survive something worse. And that's very valid. A lot of times, and it isn't just alcohol, it's any kind of addiction. In my case, it was smoking. For some people, it's food. For some people, it's sex. For some people, it's very, very hard drugs. It's all because you need something because your current circumstances are completely fucking intolerable.
Right.
And once you change the circumstances, you're going to have a very hard struggle getting out of it until the circumstances are changed.
Mhm.
But once you change the circumstances, it can, not always, but it can become downright easy.
Right.
Like we've seen the social experiments with the cocaine where, when you take people out of a very unpleasant living situation, where they're constantly fear for death, constantly hiding from police officers, etc., and you move them into an area where they're safe, they suddenly don't need the fix anymore.
Right. Yeah, that is a huge part of it is the support system, for sure. I also the other thing too I was going to say like is I started treating my ADHD, which
Mm.
I didn't realize I had that as a problem, and it caused a ton of anxiety, which caused a bunch of impulsive behavior, which caused a bunch of alcoholism, drugs, and all that stuff. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's it's different for each person, clearly, right? But like I think for a lot of people, people they just don't realize how much they are being their own worst enemy, which I guess that should be obvious, but a big part of it is like people just not being willing to accept that it's actually not going to be that bad when you don't have it.
Yeah.
That's a big
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been doing with these damn things. I mean it's taken me a long damn time to step down my nicotine intake, but the big jump was getting rid of the cigarettes in the first place.
oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I mean that was a key thing. Like I had changed my circumstances. I now actually want to, experience my life instead of not have to deal with it. So that's a plus. But also like to prepare for it, the first few weeks of it, etc., I had to keep telling myself, "You're going to be okay. This is okay. You want the cigarette, but this is fine. You are fine."
Right. And yeah, nicotine's a big one because that one I feel like is a huge mind game. Like, because that one really does, you really feel like you can't function. Like, it's weird. Like, because I vaped for years, and I constantly just have the thing just right by my head all the time. And yeah, that was a tough one. And those were one of those things like back in the day, I would have walked all the way across fucking town if I didn't have it. Like I would go without alcohol or whatever if I didn't, if I was like, oh, I'm all out of money, not going without nicotine. That was just no. I will
Hmm.
walk across the fucking world to get a cigarette. It's just wild
Yeah,
how that works. But
I've done that. Well, not the world, but
right. Well, yeah,
uh,
no, that was kind
yeah,
of hard to do.
yeah.
It's pretty big.
When I was still in high school, I lived on a farm a couple miles outside of the nearest city where my school was. And, I had a roommate, a guy who got kicked out of his mom's house, and we just take in strays because it's a farm. Stray cat, stray human, whatever. So I
Just
had a roommate.
wow, that's wild.
Yeah, and he like scarfed my last pack of cigarettes, and I'm like, oh no. And I couldn't drive at the time, so I walked the miles into town to get the cigarettes because you have to. because the chemical is in charge of your decision-making process.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and it's like it seems worth it at the moment, right? You're just like, yeah, of course I'm gonna walk. What do you think? Why not? But in the moment, you're like, of course, yeah, this is totally worth it. And then on the way back, you're still saying, that was fucking worth it. Holy shit, that was, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's. But yeah, it was same thing with that one. I did a book. Same. It's called How to Quit Smoking the Easy Way. That's I don't know. Works for some people.
I mean, it's worth a try at the very least.
Yeah,
You know,
and you don't have
I
to quit while you listen to it. That's a big part of it. Like I said, because it wants you to kind of focus on like how it feels and all that. And like, do you need this? Like, how does it feel? Because like a big part of it is that you don't even notice that you're doing it half the time until you don't have it. And that was such an interesting part of it for me because I'm just like, oh yeah, you don't think about it until you don't have it, right? That's like when you do have it, it's not like you're like, oh, this is awesome all the time. I feel so good. It's not what you're doing. You're just like, it just is a thing that you do. And then when you don't have it, then you're like, oh, fucking shit. Like, but it's just weird how it works like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I've gotten like when I forget a lunch or something, I have like a little bit of worry, like, oh shit, I'm gonna get hungry. Well, fuck it, I'll just find like a slice of pizza in a gas station or something. It'll be fine. It's not a big deal. And then if you forget your cigarettes, though, fucking panic attack.
Right. See, that's what, so there's a panic there that is no, it's not normal. That shouldn't be a thing you have to, or just a lighter too. You'll like get out and be like, oh my fuck. You have like a full pack, no lighter. You
So
gotta like ask people like a weirdo. I'm like, hey man.
I have right on the corner of my desk here a scented candle.
Oh, nice. I like the beads. That's nice. It's a nice
Yeah, it's
sound.
pretty.
Yeah.
I no longer have any lighters because I got rid of all of them.
Oh,
I can't light my scented candle.
oh, yeah. You got to keep. Lighters are good for other stuffs. I know. You forget.
Well, it was part of the thing. I smoked my last cigarette and I got rid of all the things. I didn't want them around because it would
Right.
make it harder,
It would make
But
you
I
think.
can't
Yeah.
light my damn candle.
No, you got to get one of those long ones, the long clicky ones. Anyway, that's the kind you don't want to be lighting cigarettes with because you have to hold it way down here and you're trying. Anyway,
Yep.
mess. That's just nuts.
Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, it's such a pain in the ass. And my kids called me hypocrite about it too. They were like, "You keep telling us don't smoke," and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. I agree. It is hypocritical for me to smoke and tell you not to smoke. But what I'm telling you is, look what this is doing to me. Look how the chemical is in control of my life. I'm telling you,
Right.
you don't want that."
Right. Yeah,
You know?
that's the thing. Like it kind of isn't hypocritical because you're like, I don't want you to do like to mess up the way I messed up. And look, now I can't stop because if I could stop, I'd be stopped and I wouldn't be a hypocrite right now. Like, but that's what I'm trying to stop for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm still fucking working on it. Like the dose of nicotine in these things is really, really low. I am going very gradually though, because I'm doing a whole lot of things to my poor body all at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to minimize the amount of stress from the most addictive fucking chemical.
Right. Yeah. It's cool. No, take your time. It's all right. We'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
I'm
One
like
step.
it's okay, it's okay. That's the main thing. As long as you can keep telling yourself you are okay, and you objectively assess your situation and see that you are okay, then you can keep doing it.
Right.
It's if you try to go too far too fast, that's when you relapse.
That's when you go crazy. Yeah, see, that's why I like with the books or whatever, they kind of walk your brain out of it before, because a lot of people will try to stop the behavior and then wait for their brain to catch up, and your brain never catches up. Okay, it just doesn't. You have to walk your brain out of it before you stop, and then it can, then it just feels just like, oh, I just decided to stop, and then it stopped. But that was, that's how I had to do it anyway. Like so, but yeah.
Yeah,
Nicotine's a motherfucker though, Jesus. That's like,
uh-huh.
Yeah.
All these fun chemicals that humans. I don't think I'm ever. So when I started doing the weight loss thing, I got rid of my coffee because I'm getting hundreds of calories a day from my coffee, and I'm like, that's got to go. And I was okay. Like, I didn't feel great about it, but I was okay. I went, 2 full weeks without coffee, and then my youngest finally persuaded me that I'd actually cut too many calories out of my diet, which is why I was having a difficult time continuing to lose weight because my body was in starvation mode because I wasn't giving it enough calories.
Right. Yeah, you
So,
gotta get that sweet spot, right?
yeah. So I
Because yeah,
reintroduced the coffee because it's empty calories. It's just calories. There's like nothing else in it,
right.
And it
Do you
goes right
do you
through
just do
and
coffee or do you any cream?
creamer. Yeah.
Oh, you do cream?
The
Okay.
yeah, the international delight is just oh, can't resist it. It's so
Yeah,
good.
it's really good. I
Yeah.
gotta admit, those are good.
Yeah, but so many calories. Um
Yeah,
and
that's like
and that did the trick. I mean, my weight loss is a lot slower than it was at first because I was like getting rid of all that extra visceral fat and whatnot. And
right.
now I'm still heavy, but I'm past my first couple of goals. I've lost over 140 pounds. I'm under 90 kilograms for the first time in decades,
Holy shit. That's
but it's
awesome.
slower now. But
Right.
on the plus side, on days when I have coffee, I feel like one notch more towards the good than on days when I don't have it.
Hmm.
It literally makes the day better.
Yeah. Oh, I could see that. Yeah, absolutely. I don't. I can't focus. I don't know if I could focus without it. It's yeah. That one's tough. That one's tough. I don't know if I could go without coffee. That, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
it's a powerful urge. Like you're like, I really want it. But it's fine when you don't have it. Like you don't get that
right.
extra glow of happiness, but it's fine.
You don't get like a
Just
headache or anything? Is it gonna be like a lack of
uh,
nicotine headache?
well, so I did switch out tea for coffee. It's not as strong caffeine wise, but I
Right.
like green tea is nice for just chilling. I love a black tea after a meal. And what's
Oh,
weird
me
about
too.
tea is unlike the whole rest of my family, I like my tea naked. No sugar, no milk,
Oh,
nothing. Just
you
the
don't put
tea.
cream? Oh man.
No.
Oh, that's tough.
So I'm like backwards. They
Wow.
they they drink their coffee black and they put all the stuff in their tea, and I'm like
Really?
other way around.
That's funny. Yeah, because like the way I that's too funny because like the way I do tea is like the British. Well, I do Irish breakfast tea right now, and I do it almost like it's a dessert. Like I do like four like things of sugar. It's probably not good, but to me it's like a liquid dessert. Like that's the way I think of it. Like after you eat dinner, you have your after dinner tea, whatever, and it's just a fucking dessert, right? Like, it's just super sugary.
Oh
It's
yeah. I
refreshing.
mean there's
You know?
there there's dessert wines, there's dessert teas, you can get anything in a kind of dessert. It's yeah.
Oh yeah, love it.
Oh, we are on a tangent. Where's
I know, right?
where's my where's my
All
there's
of
my tangent emoji. Let's yeah. I'll hit that one. Um I don't even we went that was like a tangent on top of a tangent. I'm not sure how the hell we got there.
I know, right?
Um
Weird. What were we talking about? I don't know.
right. So the reason I brought up addiction in the first place is
That's right.
because like your story is powerful from an atheist perspective. And you're living a much better life, and that's fantastic. It's an inspiring story. People love to hear it. But that doesn't necessitate becoming a content creator. So like what made you, decide to create your channel in the first place?
Okay, so like one of the big reasons that I deconverted to begin with was because I listened to this. I discovered podcasts that my partner. I was like, I told her I was getting tired of listening to the same music. I listen to the same music. I've always listened to like four bands, all like '90s punk bands, and it gets kind of monotonous. And all the songs are like 2 fucking minutes anyway. So like it gets that much more monotonous when you're listening to it over and over. And so I told my partner, she's like, you should try podcasts. And I was like, okay, yeah, I could do that, talk radio kind of thing. Sure.
Yeah.
And right. Yeah. And I discovered like early on, I think the only one that I listened to was a comedy podcast. It was Kevin Smith's podcast or whatever. He did these live shows or whatever, and he made a podcast out of it. And that was it. That was pretty much the only one I could think. I just was like, I don't know. I have no idea. I like Kevin Smith. So I did that one. And from there, it's like all of these things come up, all of these suggestions or whatever. And I remember one of the suggestions that I hit automatically sort of was just this Bible Man. It was like a Bible Man review show where, and it was god awful movies, and they were just like walking you through the episode, but they do a bunch of jokes as they're going through, right? Like they just sort of, they have one guy that describes what's happening, and then the other guys are like doing impressions and doing bits and stuff like that about the show. And first one was with Seth Andrews. It was it's god awful movies, and it was with Seth Andrews, and they were reviewing Bible Man, and it was just, I just thought it was hilarious, and I remembered Bible Man because I grew up with that, and then I noticed that all of their episodes were movies that I was familiar with. And so I was like, holy shit, like I know, because a lot of the movies that I watched were Christian movies. It wasn't all that I was allowed to watch, but we watched a bunch. And so that was really just like entertaining for me because I knew all the stuff. And then the jokes were so funny, but they were also atheists. So while they were telling all these jokes about the production or just the silly thing they said and the way they said it, whatever it is, they were also kind of like talking about how harmful these messages are of the shows, or of these movies and everything. And I'd never thought about it that way. I never saw all the stuff that I saw with my, the Christian movies. I thought like, oh, these are all good messages. These are all helpful messages of like love and Jesus or whatever, and them breaking it down like that was just kind of like, wow, man, it was like an eye opener that I was just like, damn, I didn't even realize. And I think because of the comedy and everything, you don't notice it when it's happening. Because like, if a comedian's doing their job right, they will get you to laugh at stuff whether you agree with it or not, right? But as you're laughing, you'll have to agree with them at least a little bit, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because you understand what they're saying so well that you can see the humor in it, right? And so a lot of times that helps you kind of change your mind. It kind of helps you, it kind of sneaks in those concepts under the radar. And I think that's what got me. I think that's what really made me start to really start questioning things. And so that's why I was like, oh man, I want to do a comedy podcast. Like I just want to do that. It was so helpful for me. And I actually got to catch a live show of theirs not too long ago. It was awesome. But yeah, so that was it pretty much. Once I did that, then I was like, I talked to my partner, and we did an audio podcast for a long time, for about like a year or two. Was it 2 years? 2 or 3 years, something like that. It was a long time. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I kind of just went from there. But podcasts are hard. Like it's really hard to get anywhere podcasting, because you kind of have to have some type of outlet to put this stuff out, to get, like YouTube and TikTok have like a mechanism to get your shit out there, right? And bring people to your stuff. Podcasts don't have that. They have, people have to search for your stuff. Nothing's gonna make you come up or whatever. And so that was hard. That just made it like really difficult and kind of like disappointing after a couple of years. You're like, okay, nobody's, still getting like, I don't know, a couple hundred plays or whatever after 3 years. It's kind of, a little bit disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I actually did the podcast thing too. So long ago, I had one of the first internet radio shows, like before podcasts were a thing. We'd call it a podcast today, but it was radio on the internet. And it was like political comedy with science and all sorts of fun things like that. And around about the time Barack Obama was running for president, I started to get picked up by real world radio stations, like terrestrial radio.
No,
yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's
I
awesome.
wound up
Yeah.
on something like 44 radio stations in Texas and 3 in Nebraska, just all kinds of weird random shit.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was trippy, but I couldn't get listeners on the actual host platform, the website. It just, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
you can be on the actual damn radio and you still can't get people on your fucking podcast.
Right, to come back and keep listening. Yeah, it's so annoying. It really is a difficult platform to be on, and for that reason. That's
It's
wild. Yeah. I was on one time I was on the radio where my partner and I when we first started, it was called Atheist Talk and it was of Minnesota. And yeah, there was a couple of people that hosts that were there that I, were friend of a friend. And we got on the radio there. It was like one of the first things I did. I was like so happy about it too. It was like it's like, oh man, I made it. Being on the radio for 5 minutes on an AM station or whatever. But oh, the purple rhymes with orange. That's Minnesota. Yeah. That's where all the people are, it seems. Like that's where a lot of the atheists isn't there like a big atheist community there? I feel like there was. I don't know.
it's I mean, there are quite a few. I don't know if there's like a formal community or a hub, but I mean, you may have heard in a recent debate, it was revealed, much to the surprise of people who live in Minnesota, that apparently the entire state got burned to the ground.
It did. Wow.
It
Okay. I didn't know that.
or so it's. Of course, this comes from the same person who tells us that they're eating the cats and eating the dogs and transing the illegals who are also going to vote and all of that
Right.
crap. So,
Well, and I heard they're putting like they're putting kitty litter in the schools. So it's like this is a problem. We got to get on top of this kitty litter thing. Joe Rogan said, and he knew a person who had a friend whose mailman's dog was friends with another dog who's there. But anyway,
yeah, for sure.
That's wild.
It's oh my goodness.
Wait, they said that Minnesota had burned down?
Oh, I think he said Minneapolis. I think he was referring to the George Floyd protests, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, with that guy, he could just be making it up entirely, and we're only like trying to connect the dots. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? Is that a real thing, or is he just hallucinating on screen again? You know?
Yeah, it's just describing the plot of Jaws, and we're just like, "What is that? When did that happen?" Yeah, Anthony, the sharks are just eating the people. They wouldn't close the beach. They wouldn't do it. Sharks just eating. Yeah, you're like, oh.
We had the biggest sharks.
Oh yes, God, that's funny, dude. Yeah, and I heard he got like shot at again or some shit.
Yeah, that was a breaking story today. It's the details are still sketchy, but it kind of seems that way.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck? What is that? Is this the Iran thing? He must have really pissed off those Iranians, dude. I don't know what he
Maybe.
did, but
Maybe. I mean, there's so many possibilities, right? Like the first guy was one of his own supporters who was trying to like turn him into a martyr or some shit.
oh, really? That was what it ended up being. I was curious about that. I hadn't really looked into what
Well, I mean,
ended up being the case.
the attacker he didn't. I'm trying to find words that YouTube will allow.
Oh, right.
The attacker did not have a compatibility with continued life after the incident. So
Okay.
we he couldn't be like interrogated and whatnot. But we do know that he was a Trump supporter, a guns and God kind of person, all that kind of crap. It's speculation why he decided to go after Trump. Maybe he intentionally missed Trump to like make the martyr complex thing, but
Right.
I don't know. I mean, this one's in custody. Or so 2 out of 3 stories tell us. The other one says that he too was not compatible with continued life, but 2 out of 3 say that he's in custody. So
really?
maybe we'll get some answers.
There's one like media, they're like, take out these stuff. But the two are like, no, they're in custody. It's so weird when the media comes out so fast that they all fuck it up. Like they're all
Yeah, they're
reporting
trying to
different
scoop
stuff.
each other, and they go off without actually having the facts, and yeah, you're gonna fuck shit up and ruin your credibility. But
And then we get like 50 fucking conspiracy theories too from all this shit. It's like, look at the media. How come the media reported that? Like there were so many of those from like 9/11 and stuff. They're like, how come they reported this part thing? And he's like, because everybody was reporting the thing so fast and they got some stuff wrong. And they're like, that means it's an inside job. Why would they do? Like, I don't understand your logic. I can't follow whatever this is.
Stephen King once posited that conspiracy theories happen because people have like this kind of emotional weight evaluation. like the Kennedy incident. Um, here's this great, powerful man, this natural leader who made the Russians back down. He is, turning the tide of history in his own lifetime. And then here's this little shitty cockwomble of a man who's failed at everything in his life and abused his wife and etc. And he took out this great man. Emotionally, these are not the same. So you have to add more to the Oswald side of the scale so that they balance. And so the CIA is behind it, or Castro is behind it, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, there's three different attackers, and whatever the case may be. And we see similar things with other conspiracy theories. Like 9/11 had to be an inside job because so many people died so easily. If it's not an inside job, we're all vulnerable, and we should probably do something about that.
Right.
So if it is an inside job, we don't actually have to worry, as long as the government doesn't need another remember the main incident,
Right. Yeah, it's weird, and you're absolutely right. I was just listening to there's this one book that I listen to like over and over, called The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe by Stephen Novella. He's awesome. Wow, he's neuroscience person, and yeah, they went over exactly what you were saying about like just the like you can't have something that impactful be like because of some idiot that killed him, right? It can't be that. It's too big. It's too big for it to be like that. And he was talking about how it was also like super documented, one of those things where it was like there were cameras everywhere. And so there's like tons of ability to data mine, right? And look and do anomaly hunting, where you can kind of like look for stuff that you think doesn't make sense at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ones that I thought was so interesting was there were so many people that like came out and said there was a person with an umbrella in the crowd, and they're like, "Why is this person with an umbrella back there?" And it was so weird. Like, and scholars even were looking like, "Oh yeah, that's like, were they in on it? Was that?" And it was a whole thing. Turns out it was some obscure protest measure of some politician that they were supporting, and that politician like carried around umbrellas, and so it was like their way of like an homage to that. But people saw that and they're like, oh, that's weird. That's so now it's see that goes in the evidence pile for like why this had to be an inside thing, because like I said, there's so much opportunity for anomaly hunting and everything. And then, yeah, it's just a very impactful day. There's just so much to it, but you're absolutely right. It's so interesting how big stuff like that has to be caused by something else equally big. It can't be some just idiot that, ended up killing somebody so important.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So, I mean, who knows? Even if the person who tried to take action on the golf course today, even if they do tell the truth, assuming they do confess, will people even believe them? Like if he says, the Russians, now that they're agents, Tim Pool and Chen and all of those people, now that they're
Right.
exposed, Trump is of no further use to them. So they're going to eliminate him in order to make him a martyr, to make the MAGA movement permanent.
Mm.
That's like,
Which that was
you
my
know,
biggest fear. When so many people came to me and they were like, not so many, but there were so many people that I talked to that were like, man, I wish I've never been this disappointed from this, whatever the meme, right? I've never been so disappointed from this much or whatever. And I was just like, dude, that's not okay. Like, this isn't a good, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, like that would have put it to bed or whatever. If Trump, if that had happened to Trump, if they had gotten him, whatever. I don't think so. I think that would have made it worse. I think that would have emboldened them even more than they already are emboldened. And I don't want to see how these people react when their Lord and Savior actually gets taken down like that. You know what I mean? It just kind of freaks me out.
so maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it's the painkillers. But it just flashed across my mind the way they talk about him, especially the main cultists, as if he were the Messiah, the chosen of God, the anointed one, the oily Josh, if you will. Um,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
if something did happen, and then 3 days later he came back?
or somebody thought they saw him 3 days later. I saw that blonde hair. Okay,
Yeah,
I'd recognize
yeah.
that fucking hair anywhere. That was him. That was him.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that it was actually Elvis because people have been seeing that fucker for decades after
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
confirmed passed away.
Straight up. Yep.
Yeah,
That's like my favorite to bring up when people talk about Jesus. I'm like, so Elvis then too, right? But yeah, wow, that would be God, that would be so bad. And that's how it would happen too. There would be people be like, he's still alive. Okay. All the same alien people would have like, pictures of Trump on the I want to believe, and it's like he just went home or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Jesus.
yeah. It's what are we gonna do with this fucking country? I mean, we're all trying to teach them critical thinking as hard and as fast as we can, but there's only so many of us. Like, yes, the Christians are losing their majority in the national whatever, but like if you add together all the communities, the Skeptic Haven, ACA, the Line, and many of them have overlapping people. Most of us are in all those communities. But if you add like Seth Andrews' audience and Matt Dillahunty's audience and like all of us, Drew, the Jacqueline Glenn,
Right?
it comes out to maybe 1 million people, maybe.
That is so bad.
And
Yeah,
then
it's not enough.
fucking Ben Shapiro posts a TikTok react and it gets 8 million views in 5 hours,
A couple
Like,
hours. Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez. It's that I swear it's like the outrage algorithm thing that they just play. They figured it out as a science. you know. Jesus. Yeah. And that is
Yeah.
it. Because here's the thing, like you kind of gotta want to be a skeptic. You kind of gotta want to actually believe what is actually true. And it was alien. I knew it. I knew it. I've been saying that it was aliens and nobody wants to listen. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, and so like, but if people want to believe that they're right, which most people just do, most people just subconsciously, they don't give a fuck what the truth is. They just want to believe that they are right. And faith allows you to be able to do that no matter what. And then people kind of use that same kind of mindset on just about everything, and just even with like the medical, not medical, but what's it called, like the health and wellness. Everybody's got like their fucking cure that they're weird about. They're you just like the silver thing or something, whatever it is. My dad was like hydrogen peroxide. Just put hydrogen peroxide on it. It's like that's not gonna. It's a I twisted my arm. Just put it on the muscle. Put it on. I don't know. It'll fix it. You just do it. Just put it on there. Rub it in. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't fix it. But like people have that cure that is their thing that they are weird about. That they want to believe that it works. And that's just the way people think, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe that's part of it. But to kind of tie it back to what we were talking about addictions. And it's going to seem like we actually know what we're doing here because we're relating to the earlier concept. See, we're clever this way.
Oh, good.
This is why people come to watch my shows, because of the quick thinking and like putting things together. Whatever.
Piecing it, yeah.
It holds up better when I explain it too.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
But like if it's the same sort of thing, in that they feel like they need it because there's an aspect of their life that's untenable, exactly the same as an addiction. And we've seen shit that backs that up in studies, like religious services with the singing and the music and everybody's doing the blah, 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 thing, all that crap. It activates the same part of the brain that addictions do.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that you're absolutely right. Like, and that was a big part of like I kind of almost want to like do like a paper or something, like if I could figure out how to sit down and actually write, but like called like Religion Loves Addiction, because religion to me, and I know people get upset about this because Marx said it was the opiate of the masses. I disagree with Marx. Opiates are way too physical. It's the nicotine of the masses. That's how I think, because like nicotine doesn't provide a high or anything. It's just about the beliefs. It's just about believing that it alleviates some kind of some type of tension, but really it's causing the tension that it's also relieving. And that's what religion does. It causes tension that it also then relieves, right? But you believe that it's not it's just relieving it. It's not causing it. When we all know that that's how it works, because they're giving you
Yeah.
the shame and the guilt and everything that they are also delivering you from all at the same time, right? And
Yeah.
it's very similar to how like nicotine just it's like tightening your shoes to like feel the pleasure of taking them off or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like you caused it and fixed it all in one go. But
I like to think of it like when I was little, I'd get too warm in the winter because my parents had the heat cranked up way too high. And so I'd go outside for a few minutes where it was way too cold. And I'd just sit there and shiver. But then when I came back inside, it didn't feel too hot anymore.
it
You know,
felt
so
good, right?
by subjecting myself to discomfort, it alleviated my struggle with the untenable situation that I had to live with. And it's kind of ass backwards. It's the thinking of a child, but it's kind of the same thing, except in the case of religion, they're selling you the sickness so that they can sell you the cure.
Right.
But there is some
That's
value in that, I think, at
yeah.
least from their perspective, because when we live in a society where we control almost nothing about our own lives. Like we can choose
Right.
where to work, we can choose out of a limited selection of places that we can afford in a certain area, whatever. It's all limited. It's limited. But we do get a few choices. But for the most part, we have no real say in the laws of our community or the fact that we have to work ourselves to death to be broke. There's so many
Right.
things that we can't control. And by buying into a religion, particularly a fundamentalist kind of religion where it's everything is the will of God, we're
Right.
putting ourselves in a position where, yes, there is a huge existential problem, original sin in the afterlife. But the good news is this one problem, this one thing in your life, the biggest, most important thing in your life, now that you've accepted the problem, that we have a solution for. So at
Right.
least one thing can be solved. And it makes you feel like, even though you're surrendering to God, that you have some control over your own life.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it also gives you that like that looking forward to thing, which why I think it like it's so much so religion is, I feel like, trying to condition people to be okay with suffering so people can take advantage of you and you can't ever say anything about your suffering because hey, just pay it. Don't worry. Like after you die, that's when you feel better or whatever, you know.
Right?
And it made sense for like masses that were having hard times or whatever, like back in the day or whatever. For people that were just suffering Black Plague times and shit, like it made sense to be like, hey man, it's gonna be great once we all die from this sucker, and then then we'll go to heaven or whatever, But like, it does accomplish that, I think, because it just helps you kind of go, well, at least this will be done, and I'll feel good after, someday later or whatever. I won't be in this pain. But yeah, it's not really real. So it's kind of a useless belief, but
Yeah, it's always kind of bugged me too. Like when somebody dies, I understand when people say they're in a better place, they're trying to offer consolation and comfort, but I don't know. Maybe it's because, I have a medium dose of the tism. But it struck me as like the most horrible thing you can say to somebody. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, they were
what, you
here,
don't want
they
to be
were
there?
alive,
Yeah, it's not bad. They're in the ground right now. They're not alive.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. Like, what do you? That sucks, dude. That's not better. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so funny. I'm gonna
Like,
say
oh,
that
I
to
used
next.
to
I'm
have
gonna next
like existential crisis about that. Like, what does it feel like to rot and have no control? Like, you get rigor mortis. It's the worst cramps you've ever had in your whole body, and you can't do anything about it because you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Of course, as a child, I didn't understand that the neurons in your brain all disconnect as part of the dying process.
Right.
So there's no you to feel it. I didn't know that at the time. I was like,
Oh, I see.
you feel it, you know?
So you were thinking you'd feel all the time. You're like, oh, there's a fucking worm right in my back of my
Yeah.
head,
I was
crawled right in there.
dreading it. I was like, oh, death is going to suck. Maybe I'll get cremated. It'll suck a lot very briefly and then it'll be done, you know?
And it's over. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if that were the case, I think everybody would. Right. That would just be, there wouldn't be burying people at
I
all if that
wonder.
was.
if
I guess
that's why
they
it
could never
was
tell anybody though, right? That's what it doesn't matter.
right, because there's no way to get the message out. It's the ultimate lock-in kind of situation. But I wonder if that's why so many cultures, like, yeah, we go, oh, civilization, that's burying the dead. That's part of one of the hallmarks of civilization. It's really not, because there's so many cultures that do the funeral pyre thing. Like the
Oh,
Vikings do
right.
it on the ships, and so many of the indigenous cultures here in the Americas, because, like, in ancient Peru, it's mountains and shit. Like, what fertile ground there is, you
Oh,
use
yeah.
for farming because you need to support your population. So, a lot of cultures burn their dead instead of burying them.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
That makes
Uh,
sense. So yeah, that does make sense. Huh.
Yeah, like the indigenous people who lived in what's now Louisiana. Like, as the people in New Orleans discovered, you can't just stick people in the ground because, thanks to the climate, they'll come back up the next time a storm comes through, you know?
Oh, that's a bad day for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see the people that figured that out. Like, fuck, that graveyard we just started. Okay, we're gonna have to do something different in the grave. They're
Oh,
all over
yeah.
the street now. This is
That
just go move Tom. Go to get Tom and just light him on fire. I don't know. Get rid of him.
Ooh. What if that's what happened in that chapter in Matthew when Jesus rose and all the saints came out of their graves and went back into the city? What if it was a flood and all the coffins just floated up out of their holes and went into the city, you know?
That's
What if
right.
that's what the Bible's talking about?
That was it. No, that had to
Yeah.
be it. That we fixed it. That was it.
We're solving all the thousands of years these apologists have been working on this shit, and we're just spitballing and solving their problems.
Right? Yeah. That's so funny. It reminds me too. I remember like my old pastor, he used to get on these weird kicks where he'd be like criticizing other pastors. And he was so mad about this one pastor, I guess, that would do that. Like that would be like, when Jesus said to throw your net on the other side of the boat, he was up on a ledge, man. He could see down that there was and he like tried to have like a natural explanation or whatever for all of Jesus's miracles. Oh man, my pastor would get so fucking like, no, it was magic, and don't you dare try to normalize what he did.
Yeah,
funny.
Don't make it naturalism. It's not. If it's a natural thing, then anybody could do it. Jesus was the special. He had the Lego piece of destiny.
That's right.
He had Lego Batman helping him out. Whatever the first
right.
try.
The destiny, yeah. Lego piece of destiny. Right.
Yeah, for sure. We have another super chat from Yahooligan. Justin sends us 5 what's the slang for Canadian dollars? Alleged dollars. There it is.
Oh, there, yeah. Thank you.
It's been a while since
I'm
I've
sorry,
been.
dollar. That's right.
Yeah,
we call them I'm sorry's. That's it. Yeah. I was trying to think of something that wasn't mean, but like, that's all I could think of. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Justin says, "Can you guys keep it down? Some people are trying to pray." Love Brently, by the way. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, Justin was trying to do a show over on Skeptic Spin. That's the current incarnation of Justin's channel. I saw the notification, but I've been doing streams all afternoon, so and such is life. Point is, we're too loud, and it disrupted Justin's stream. That's
the prayer. Oh, the prayer.
That's what's happening.
Got it.
Yeah,
sorry.
I sidetracked myself. Actually, it wasn't even entirely me. It was this spooky being who
I knew it.
fills in my gaps in my Lego bricks. In the Lego movie, the special piece was called the Craggle.
The Craggle. The Craggle of Destiny. That's right. There was a Destiny, right? Or is that that was a guitar pick. Wait. I don't know. I lost it.
It just goes to show it's been too long since I saw the movie. I need to watch it again. I need to sing Everything's Awesome.
Yeah.
And forget where,
that was back when Chris Pratt was not an idiot. So that was pre-idiot Chris Pratt. Yeah.
I keep thinking of like honey, where are my pants? And I'm like, if I lose my pants, I'm fucked. Because what am I gonna do? Ask my roommate's dog? Like, hey, Roscoe, have you seen my pants? Did you eat my pants, you fucker?
Maybe the dog has some extra pants. I don't know. I mean, it could be. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's just, I don't know. Pookie says it is the best movie.
It
I
was
will
really
give
good.
it is
I enjoyed
very, it's so entertaining. But I have to give it a second place behind Box Trolls.
What is it? Box trolls.
Box
Oh,
Trolls.
the
Yeah.
hair troll. Is that the ones
No, no,
with
no, no.
the poofy
Although
hair?
that was cool too. I've got sunshine in my pocket. Yeah, but we
That's
can't
fun.
get a copyright. No, Box Trolls. It's a stop motion claymation movie. Jesus Christ, Ember, go to bed.
That works. No, movie
Yeah,
that works.
it's an movie. It's about a little lost boy who got raised by trolls who live in boxes,
Hmm.
and they like when they're scared they like fold themselves up like turtles inside their boxes, and that's why they're box trolls. And
Oh,
and and there's like the city is run by these people in these giant white hats that have cheese parties, and it's a whole thing.
that's a cheese. I mean,
Spooky is
that's
also a troll who lives in a box. It's
right.
fair.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, and they said the cheese party thing too. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
awesome.
The piece of resistance is more of the special piece than the Craggle. Aha!
Oh,
Aha! Oh, I see. Purple said the Craggle was the evil goo. The piece of resistance was the missing cap. See,
piece of resistance. Okay,
it's been too long for spooky. Also,
that's tough. You were close though. You were close.
yeah,
You got exactly backwards, but yeah, no, you nailed it.
yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, but that shit is great. I used to watch it with the kids. I'd get those tiny little sausages like from Swiss Colony. The first ones were from Swiss Colony, but they were a gift from my parents. And because I'm poor, I couldn't afford Swiss Colony, so I would get like the discount versions, but the tiny little sausages, and we'd get like the little cheeses, and we'd cut them up. The kids actually got me for Christmas one of those years. They got me a little tiny wooden cutting board with a little tiny cleaver just for cutting the little tiny sausages.
What? Oh, that's awesome. A little mini cleaver. Oh,
Yep.
it's adorable.
Yeah. It was so fucking cute.
It's for a little tiny murder of some sort, right?
That's right.
Murder.
In case you have to, murder Jiminy Cricket or a leprechaun or something.
There you go. Hey, you never know, right? It
Yeah.
could be. or you have to go on an adventure with a leprechaun and you're like, I got the weapon for you. You're good. Yeah, I'll take the gun and you take this. It's perfect size.
Well, there are pluses to that because, like, zombie movies, right? I love zombie movies. They're so much fun. All horror movies, really, but like zombie movies are just
Oh yeah.
chef's kiss.
I enjoy it.
But everybody's like, "Oh, I need the gun. We need to get more ammo." I'm like, "That's the problem with guns, is you constantly need more ammo. You
Right.
should have a fucking cleaver because it never runs out of ammo."
Right. Yeah. Or arrows, you can just go pick them out of people,
Yeah,
They stop
I mean,
moving.
sure, a few sometimes they break, but oh, they're not super easy to make more. But once you know how to do it, it's not that hard. You just need something that produces feathers. A goose will do. And if
Right.
zombie apocalypse happens, there's fucking geese everywhere already anyway.
Right. That's so funny you say that about zombie. I've actually been lately. I really been wanting to like write like a story about a bunch of punks that do a zombie, a zombie movie, but like with punks.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be called Night of the Living, but like KN, like Night of the Living, and then Punk's
Uh-huh.
not dead, right? Night of the Living, Punk's not dead, right? So it's Night of the Living, Punk's not dead, but it'd be
Okay.
and you'd be like the Night of the Living fighting the dead, right? But then it's just subtitled Punk's not dead. I don't know. It could
Yeah, and you
it
can have
sounds like
Kevin Sorbo come in as like the angry evangelical, and
that's what I was thinking. Yes. Right. Oh God, he would like have to do it too if I offered it to him. I think he's like, I can't afford to not do this. I have to right now.
it's really true. But like, oh, I would love to see a spoof of those stupid fucking God's Not Dead movies. Did you hear they made a fifth one?
Yeah, well, it just came out, right? Like there's It's something like God bless America or some stupid shit, right? Oh yeah. Disappointed. He totally fucking read the direction without, and he wants to act like he didn't. But on scripts, they have a little fucking thing that says what you're supposed to be looking like with your face, and he read that shit. That's what that was. It's supposed to be like walking out disappointed in brackets, and he's like, disappointed. Oh shit, that was not even the. Oh man, I'm sorry. That wasn't even the line. I was on the. No, that was just the. So okay, so I'm supposed to look disappointed. Got it. And they were like, let's just leave it in that part because that was really funny.
It's the best acting he's ever done.
Yes. I know that's what happened. I will. I choose to have faith that that's what happened.
There you go. Yeah. They prophesied that memes would one day become a thing, and that would get immortalized as a meme. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh god, that was so good too. Oh,
yay!
So funny.
All right, so tangents upon tangents, but I mean that's what we come here for. It's a tangent stew. What goals do you have for your channel going into the next year? And
I'd like to do something normal. I mean, when I say normal, I'd like to be able to do like actual regular YouTube. I'm trying to, but they're not. They're not that good. I'm struggling with it, but I'm getting there. But I would like to eventually be able to do like a actual response video that looks like a normal actual response video that most people have. That'd be cool. And maybe debates too. I don't know. I think I might go back to debating again. I used to do that a lot.
Yeah, I feel that debates they can be really, really fun depending on the nature of the setup. Like, I've debated certain flat earth people who get so into it they get fucking hateful about it. But as long as people are, if it's a silly subject, it's fantastic. Or even if it's like a real subject, as long as people like have good faith or at least are respectful, it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're right. That is the one difficulty with it, is like how it's difficult to find like people being honest interlocutors to like actually interact with. All in that, and you just kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm platforming people and I shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
That can be a risk. I've gone rounds with people. One of the reasons that I don't really do MDD anymore is partly because of their platforming of problematic people, which there's a whole ethical debate about that. But the main thing is that I get a lot of shit every time in fact, it's not just MDD. It's like anytime I get involved with a much larger channel, I get heaps of shit for assorted reasons, and I'm just like, I'm scared away from associating with bigger channels because of that, because it's almost like a curse. I don't know, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I got sort of, I mean, I wouldn't call it like canceled or whatever, but I got like, it's like some what's the word? I'm trying to think of the way. I got some guff. We'll say that. I got some guff because I had David Smalley on the show a long time ago. It was like, well, and it wasn't the current show. It was like 2 shows ago or something. And had him on, yeah, and I apologized because I got a bunch of guff, and so I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, and I apologized. Then he threatened to sue me.
What?
And so I had to revote. I was like, I'm actually not sorry, you guys. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do right now. I don't. I was so confused. He was like, if you don't take back your apology or take down the post, whatever, you will be hearing from my lawyer. I was like, okay, so this guy's a fucking piece of shit. All right, not ever dealing with him again. And yeah, I had to like do an apology video with him. And then I feel like he was trying to say as much controversial shit in that stream as humanly possible. And so then after that, I deleted it pretty much right away. I like went like, I don't know, about a month or something. I was like, okay, maybe he's not looking anymore. Delete all that shit. Fuck that guy. Holy shit. He was like, it was insane. But yeah, don't have him on your show. Don't do it. He'll try to sue you. He will. He'll at least threaten it.
That's so fucked up.
It's fucking weird. Right? I would not have expected that from him. I thought he
and now
like
that you've told that story, He's gonna sue me too, but
I know.
it's okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just taking out everybody now.
I haven't been sued in a little while. I mean, I was a repo agent for 3 years, and I was getting sued at least once a week. Fucker
What?
stole
Yeah.
my car. Yeah.
Oh, yep. That'll
Yeah,
happen. I get it.
almost everything got dismissed like immediately, but it still
Right.
happened. And the
Huh.
guy who owned the company, he was constantly like, "You guys can't take a car from inside a locked garage. You're gonna get me sued." It was the meme of him is every twice a week, "You're gonna get me sued." I'm like, you have a lawyer on speed dial, like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
repo. You're gonna get sued a lot.
That's so funny. I would never. I mean, it makes sense that people would do that, even though it's like, come on, dude, what are you doing? You're gonna, trying to sue the people that took the car back for the bank. That's just, yeah. You're well
Yeah, I
within
mean,
your right.
we could do a whole thing on the laws and the workarounds and various things, but that's not what we're here for, and we really don't have time for that.
All right.
We're less than 10 minutes till Bad Science Sunday. That's the show coming up next. This week, Maya and Dr. Tapioca Weasel are joined by Professor Parks, PhD. That's not a
Nice.
person I'm familiar with. But they're gonna see what Gina has to say, which is always a fun time. So that should be pretty neat.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Gina. Oh, nice. Oh yeah. She's always. She's
Yeah.
like my go-to when I can't think of what to do. I'm like, fucking whatever. She'll be funny, and she always is. She's funny. She just is.
Often unintentionally. It's pretty wild. But
I'd love to see her intentionally doing it. Like I want to see a Gina stand up. That would be some funny stuff. Right.
10 minutes at the Apollo.
Yeah, exactly. Just leaning on the mic. Don't you hate it when reptilian humanoids try to take your coffee from you at the coffee shop? I don't know. She'd have a whole bit about the coffee shop with the reptilian. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I should have known at the beginning. I don't think I've ever gotten through all of my questions with anyone, and I should have known better. When the two of us get together, it's just woo, off we go.
Right. Yeah. Always.
But one that I definitely wanted to ask is because of what you do, you have seen a whole lot of totally unhinged nonsense. What stands out to you as the weirdest fucking thing you've seen so far?
Oh, that's tough. Wow. Yeah. I mean, this could take so many forms. But I think probably the one that just comes to mind automatically. So there's this dude, Pastor Steve. It's Pastor Steve Cicerelli or something. I can't remember his last name, but he's this dude, and he's on right now. He just got a studio recently with General Flynn. It was General Flynn's like new propaganda, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember he did this crazy. He's just so weird, and he's really awkward and creepy. But he was like holding up this like number, and he took the number of days. What was it? Okay, it was like between birth dates, right? So it was between Obama's birthday and then that Noah Havari guy or whatever of the World Economic Forum that they're all terrified of. It's just some dude. He wrote a book called Sapiens. He's like a scholar or whatever, but they hate him. He's a Jewish guy and he's an atheist. And anyway, but they and he took the number of days between their birth dates, right? And he like held it up. And he was like, this is the exact number of days in between Obama and this Noah Varga. And he's like, and just like the devil, he always flips everything upside down. And when he turned it upside down, it said lies. Like it was like 7, like I can't remember the number, but like a 3 was in there, like for an E. And he like flips it upside down. It's like it spells out lies. And everybody's like, oh, wow. It's like, oh my God, this guy's like, you went digging for that number. First of all, like you put that number in and then tried to find anything you could that would fit. And it ended up being Obama's birthday to the fucking World Economic Forum guy. which probably wasn't even accurate, to be honest.
It's
But this is
that
funny.
had to have been a bet. That
Right.
had to have like him and Greg Locke got together and are like, I bet I can convince my congregation of something that we thought was stupid even in 5th grade. Like take a calculator and type in 80085. Now
Yeah,
turn it upside down, you know?
yeah, it's the fucking movies. Like he just did it with lies. Like,
Yeah,
what
I'm
the
like,
fuck? Oh my god, that's so funny. Yes.
yeah, and they're impressed by that. They're like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
Wow. It's
And the
like
look on
and
his
you
face
have to
was-
do it in the dumbest fucking way possible.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh man, it was just so weird, and I think that would, as far as just like insane stuff goes, the other one that I think that it would come in second place was this just random guy. I don't even know his name, but God, he was. It was. I think I did a short of it where he was just talking about like human sacrifices and stuff, and he just says it's so normal. He's like, yeah, so they just do all these like well these human sacrifice things, and so they're just like really, and it's just like these what's it called like what human sacrifice, but it was like this satanic panic shit, whatever. But it was just the way he said it was so nonchalant and funny that I couldn't I couldn't help it. That's just,
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's a fair one. That's
I
up
don't
there and
know.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Wowzers. Oh my goodness.
Oh, and
Uh,
see, now there's the werewolves lady that just recently, and she like tried to gaslight the people watching the video, like, wake up, okay, the werewolves are real, okay, wake up, people, you guys are stupid if you don't believe in it. It's like, wow, dude, you are just that is never thought I'd be gaslit in that way. Let me just put it that way.
yeah, yeah. Like you already believe in Jesus. It's written on your heart.
Zombies,
You
yeah.
already believe in werewolves. It's encoded in your DNA.
Well, and I just heard there was another one too. Somebody was saying that somebody else, one of the in the chat, I gotta go check. They said they sent me the video. That there was a Christian werewolf video again, and I'm like, this is the second fucking one. And like, it did. Is there some part in the Bible that says werewolves that we're all just like that somebody just figured out like a couple of days ago? Because this is the second time in like a month that I've heard Christians talk about fucking werewolves. What
You
is
notice how
happening?
they all copy each other?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
You
one
can't.
person will mention something off the wall weird, and then suddenly like all of them are doing a sermon about the same really esoteric, obscure thing.
Yeah, word for word too. A lot of like times you can be like,
Sometimes,
"Same
yeah.
exact phrase." Like, it's just so weird. Can't even come up with different ways to phrase it.
I know. It's like you fuckers only need 52 sermons. What are you
Right?
doing?
Yeah, and then you could just you could just recycle after that, right?
Yeah.
I'd argue you probably need to go for about 5 years, and then you can start recycling, right? And then nobody will figure it out.
I mean, honestly, considering with the average person, you could probably get away with a recycle time of 5 years. You're going to have that one or two exceptional person in any given group who are like, "Didn't we do this already?" But they're not really
Right.
sure. But like
Right.
with church crowds, I think you could probably give the same sermon every 4 months, and they'll just be like, "Wow, I've never thought about that before."
Right? So it's similar to the one they did, but I got a couple extras. They made a couple extra points that I hadn't thought of before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh
that's
my
wild.
goodness. All
Jesus.
right, so we are just about out of time. Before we go, for anybody who doesn't know, would you like to recap where you are, what you do, what you got coming up, and all that fun stuff?
Hell yeah. Yeah. So I got Punk Apostate. It's on YouTube. If you just search Punk Apostate or youtube.com/@Punk Apostate. And yeah, I do all I a lot of reaction stuff, right? Kind of like a mystery science theater 3000 kind of feel. Just kind of like
Yeah,
react and make a lot of jokes, do a lot of silly impressions and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, and that's about it. I don't think I have anything too special coming up. I actually got to start scheduling some stuff, but yeah. So and it's Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and then Sundays at 1 p.m. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah. Or you could do like I do and just ring the notification bell, and YouTube will tell you when Brently's live.
Right, which is still a good idea because that's kind of just the basic, like it's just a guideline. It doesn't. I don't know if I ever hit it exact or even close to exact,
I
but
think
yeah,
once you were on time.
right, like dead on. Yeah,
Yeah.
Funny
Yeah,
stuff.
it's always like 7 minutes this way or 4 minutes this way, whatever. But
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
punk, so it works, you know?
Right. See, that's that. That's why I themed it that way, so that I don't have to be good at all.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alrighty. And I've got the usual assortment of I actually have a pretty good selection this week. On Wednesday, I'm pretty sure it's this Wednesday. A video with Vlad, Pastor Vlad, everything's demonic guy.
Oh, I love that guy. Yeah, he's so
Yeah,
funny.
regular recorded video with him. Well, it's not regular. It's a new whatever. That's on Wednesday.
It's
Thursday on the
irregular.
transpositions. Good news. Join us for good news. And Bree's got her segment, and Steph and Carly are going to do sports, and it's wonderful. It's a great time. Everybody should come.
Oh, yeah.
Saturday debate review back over here. Mark and I are doing part 2 of the presidential debate.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hilarious.
Love Mark.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
that'll
love
be
you,
great. And then next Sunday, Atheist Live's next episode features the wonderful Robin Webster.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Yeah,
hell
so
yeah.
we're finally gonna get Robin on, and
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
it'll be good times. And there's probably other stuff too. I mean, I've got so many fucking channels I work with now. But and also next Saturday, Skeptic Haven. I'm gonna be on Women Atheists Unload.
No shit. Oh,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
that's a it's a new Helen just bugged me about it. And I was like, sure, let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
a lot of stuff coming up. Good times.
That's great. Oh yeah. I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna be working with them quite a bit more frequently too. So I'll probably see you around in the hallways and stuff at the the water cooler and all that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Skeptic Haven water cooler.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people have been trying really hard to. I mean, I was involved in the Christmas fundraiser thing, and it's important to have more community centers, and nobody's perfect, but like Elliot reached out to me to try to figure out some things to get everybody on the same page so that it can be a good place for the whole community. And we both know Helen, and she's just she does everything she can for every organization she can, and so
She
like
really does. Yeah, she's sweet.
yeah
Yeah, I just had her on today.
I saw, yes.
Yeah.
But I understand Maya is live now, so I can
shit.
stop stalling.
We're cutting in now to
Yeah. It's all right. I always do this because like if I send people over before she actually goes live, they're like, "Oh, nothing's happening," and they leave. So I wait till she's actually going.
There you go. See, you got Aunt Gier here to let you know. See, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks everybody so much for joining. This has been a blast. I hope you had a good time. I know
Always,
I did.
man. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
For sure. Thanks for coming, Brently. Maybe we'll get you, sooner than a year next time.
Right.
We'll
yeah.
see.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I gotta have you back on my show too. So we gotta make it
Fuck
happen.
yeah. Yeah. All kinds of fun stuff. And to everybody watching, future people, hello future people, please remember to subscribe. But most importantly, shit, how is it that you put it? Be kind, be
logical, and I always say be logical or stay logical and loving, skeptical and compassionate.
hell
And
yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Here we go. Good night, folks.